5 cars, 5 stages, 6 of the sport's best drivers. The Mobil 1 Rally Challenge is designed to find rallying's all-rounder. On the opening stage in Yorkshire, the test will be via Peugeot's front-wheel drive 309 GTI on the forest tracks of Dalby. Second stage, a vast increase in horsepower and four-wheel drive, Toyota's Celica GT4 in Wycombe Forest. The third stage, front-wheel drive again, the 16-valve Vauxhall Astra GTE in the south of Scotland. And the final 2 stages, for each driver, tarmac and rear-wheel drive. 2 mountain stages in the Isle of Man for the Ford Sierra Cosworth and the BMW M3. So 6 drivers of proven class with a rare opportunity to compete in equal machinery and on equal terms. Louise Aitken-Walker, throughout the 80s, Britain's top woman driver. Malcolm Wilson, Britain's highest-ranked driver in world competition. From Finland, the experienced Pentti Riikola, former British champion. From Sweden, Stig Blomqvist, RAC rally winner and world champion in 1984. Russell Brooks leading the British Championship this year. And another former British champion, the fast and spectacular Mark Lovell. And the backdrop is some of Britain's finest scenery. Latter stages on the Isle of Man, opening stages on the vast open spaces of forestry commissioned land that's now a burgeoning recreation facility and the home of British rallying. So, Dalby Forest, the opening stage, very familiar ground to the top drivers, but much preparation has to be done for what is a fully fledged international pace note event. Mark Lovell and Ronan Morgan chart every yard and every possibility of gaining time.
Cut that. So it's hairpin left cut.
During the run, the co-driver will call back these pace notes well ahead of the relevant point on the stage, and the drivers put their full trust in the man alongside. Looking down on the Dalby Woodyard, focal point for this opening 2.18-mile Peugeot stage, the cars enter and exit the Woodyard twice after a very fast downhill start and a high-speed loop. And the first to go will be Louise Aitken-Walker and Nicky Grist.
We are the youngsters at this event, and we were both in our 20s, so I don't know, experience may tell, but our young stamina may bring us through at the end of the day.
Particular spice to the challenge in that respect. And Louise, the old thing about being the #1 woman driver, extra something to prove because of that?
Well, it would be nice in a female competition part of it. You know, it's obviously we'd like to be at #1 just as much as they would, and we'll certainly be giving it all our best.
Now, Peugeot, very fond memories for you of driving the Peugeots and working with the team. What perhaps is the outstanding memory?
I think coming over second overall in the cartel rally in the 1900, that was the 205, but the team worked exceptionally well, and it was a fantastic result for all of us. So I think that's the most memorable one.
Very familiar with the 205, but how familiar with the 309?
Well, I've had once round here today, just driven it a little bit, but you know, it's similar to the 205, it's front-wheel drive. And we'll just have to see how we get on.
Louise perhaps too modest to mention the brilliant drive she had for Peugeot in the RAC rally 2 years ago before retiring in these Yorkshire forests. But this is a sprint, accuracy, speed and determination, the keynotes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 50. Absolute brow, 30. Absolute brow and quick left, 70. Absolute right, half brow and slight right. 50.
Louise on the descent into the woodyard and about to make her first mistake.
30. Absolute left and turn tight. Handbrake exit right.
Hang on, I missed the gear.
A missed gear as the stopwatch ticks away in the corner. That could cost her a second or two and upsets her rhythm in the twisting section to come.
Short slight right to hairpin left. And long quick left, 30. Flat left, 100.
Now the chance to put her foot down, and the references from Nicky Grist to flat and absolute mean exactly that. Go as hard as you can and don't fear the consequences.
Long, open, easy right to open hairpin left, uphill. 30. Flat right, 30. Flat left and turn the hairpin left. Narrows up. 30. That's it. Medium left, 30.
Louise Aitken-Walker from Duns in Berwickshire, often referred to as an ex-shepherdess, but that's a few years ago now. In fact, she's been rallying for the last 10 years, was a class champion in the British Series last year, and prominent on the track this year in the British Touring Car Championship. But certainly Britain's top woman rally driver, and since the retirement of Michèle Mouton, arguably #1 in Europe as well.
30.
Back into the woodyard for the second time, and after the early mistake, a very respectable run indeed.
And long slight right continues, over brow.
About half a mile from the end of the stage, and the chance to set a really challenging target.
130. Easy left continues, over 30. Inside, that's it. 150. Good girl. 150. Long, quick right. Keep it on through finish.
Right, okay.
Well done, that was good.
What time is that, Nick?
240.
Sorry about that.
That's okay, that's great.
Coming down the long hill, we missed a few gears, and we missed a gear coming down at the hairpin. And it just shows what, maybe missing a gear, it's another second here and there. So I'll go and watch everybody else and relax a bit now.
And give herself the chance to see if a former world champion can match that very impressive time. Sweden's Stig Blomqvist, world champion in 1984 in the Audi Quattro, 7 times a winner of his home event, the snowy Swedish rally, and without doubt one of the great names of the sport, and a driver who over a long career has lost none of his aggression and ability. But like all the other drivers in the challenge field, the front-wheel drive Peugeot 309 will be a rather new experience. Alongside Blomqvist will be Björn Cederberg on the Swedish pace notes. Cederberg was alongside him in 1984 when they were world champion driver and world champion co-driver.
5, 4,
100 över krön, 30 ner, medium vänster, 80. I vägskäl.
Once again, very familiar country for Blomqvist. On his first attempt at the RAC rally, he claimed victory in the Saab. 13 years later, the World Championship year, he won it again. Clean and quick on his entry into the woodyard, and he's bound to pick up time on Louise Aitken-Walker there. In fact, the split time on the exit shows him 2 seconds faster, 44 seconds to Louise's 46 at that point, and that shows the precise cost of a missed gear. No problems for Blomqvist on the back part of the stage, and rejoining the run, we'll be able to see how much further advantage he's gained. In fact, he's picked up just 1 further second at this final checkpoint. Blomqvist 3 seconds quicker as he concentrates now on the fast run into the finish. The first board is just a warning of the finish, and the second is the finish itself. And faster by 2 seconds, an advantage gained by 1 missed gear change. New target then of 2:38 for Britain's top-ranked World Championship driver, Malcolm Wilson. Driving for Vauxhall, his 8th place on the Swedish rally last year, the best ever performance on the event by a British driver. And this season, after being placed 3rd and 6th in New Zealand and Australia, he's Britain's only A-seeded World Championship driver. Malcolm Wilson then, with alongside him Ian Grindrod, one of Britain's most experienced co-drivers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 150 over crest. Flat left, 100. Crest 20, keep in. 70. Crest 200. Hairpin right.
Like Louise, a couple of misgears down the hill, left-hand drive, which may be part of the reason for the problems in that direction. But Wilson unlikely to be quicker than Blomqvist here.
Right entry, K left.
But in fact, only 1 second slower on this first part of the stage. But a bad exit there from the complex, dropping a wheel into the ditch, and that can carry penalties of a different kind. We'll view that from inside the car. Wilson taking as tight a line possible, drops into a hole on the left, and then drops the right front into a ditch on the other side, and as a result, that right front has punctured. And now the task for Wilson is to limit the damage as much as possible. He's punctured quite early in the stage. Front-wheel drive, remember, that makes it worse.
100.
Back in the woodyard, Wilson has dropped a massive 17 seconds.
Absolute left long.
Struggling for control with that right front down on the rim, still very impressive pace, but the challenge is decided by each driver's sum total of all 5 stages, and this puncture has left Wilson a long way back, perhaps too far back. Malcolm Wilson off the pace by 22 seconds, a massive margin in a sprint event.
On a stone, was it?
Sorry?
Stone at the edge of the road.
I don't know.
An event designed to prove the sport's best all-rounder, but it's all proved how much luck is required as well.
I think just exiting the woodyard here, it sort of went in a hole, and I think there must have been probably a stone or something in the hole. And it just, I didn't realise I didn't know exactly what the problem was, but obviously I felt what happened later on and realised it was a puncture, so I had to keep going.
Can you blame it on a mistake on your part, or just the luck of the sport?
Just the luck of the sport, and it's the way it goes. Some you win, some you lose, but no, I don't think it was any fault on my part. I don't think so, yeah.
You lost about 20 seconds to the rest because of the puncture. Is that roughly how much you would expect to lose with a problem like that?
Yeah, you would expect to lose that sort of thing with a front-wheel drive car, and obviously it happened very early in the stage as well. So we probably drove about 1.5 miles with it flat. There must be something in that hole in the woodyard here. Probably a stone or something in the hole.
"20 seconds down, it's quite a bit really. I mean, it may not seem it from the outside, but that's what it's like skiing, you know. I mean, 1/10 of a second in skiing is quite a lot, you know. 20 seconds at this game, that's quite a long time.
3 gone. Blomqvist leads Louise Aitken-Walker by 2 seconds. Malcolm Wilson well adrift in terms of this stage and the overall competition. Still to come, Russell Brooks, Mark Lovell, and the next to go, Pentti Ricola.
Now, you've been watching closely down at the woodyard. 2:38, the time to beat so far from Stig. What's your impression of that time?
Oh, I'm very worried about it. It's been extremely fast times and very good driving, and I mean, it's a very hard act to follow. We certainly are going to try our best.
Now, looking at the stage you've got coming up, which really is a sprint, you've got to go for everything. Where do you think, what points on the stage can you make up a few seconds?
It could also be that there I can lose it. You see, when rallies normally I don't really like to take any risks, but in this kind of event you have to take a risk because it is such a short sprint event, and just have to take some risk, and hopefully you can pull it out, and then don't do any mistakes. I mean, just a missing gear can mean 1 or 2 positions.
Ricola from Finland, but British champion in 1979, especially fond of rallying here in Yorkshire, having twice won the Yorkshire British Championship round. Whether it's a Manta or a Mitsubishi, Ricola enjoys the woodyard in its muddier moods. Dust and sun, though, today, as we pick up Ricola in the latter stages of his run. Ronan McNamee, his regular co-driver, alongside him. And on the first part of the stage, he was only 1 second slower than Blomqvist. And McNamee using the numbered system of pace notes, numbers to indicate the severity of the corners.
Into crest 1, into right 1 minus, into left 1. Into right 1, suddenly long crest, right 2, suddenly right 5 minus. Into long crest, left.
Back into the woodyard, no big crowds today because for safety reasons this invitation challenge is being held in private. Ricola dropping hard into a hole there, and in fact the drivers competing in front of the most discerning rally audience of all, their own fellow professionals. And Ricola, not helped by that incident 2 corners ago, has dropped further behind, 3 seconds now behind Blomqvist, time that can't be made up on the final run-in, but Ricola makes sure that the gap stays at just 3 seconds behind, only good enough for 3rd place.
41.
Quite disappointed with that.
It's not as bad as it looked.
As Ronan McNamee passes on stage information to the next man, Mark Lovell, the question is, who can beat Blomqvist and who can beat Louise?
Well, Louise hit a pretty quick time, hasn't she?
Yeah. Changed my views about women drivers.
But they're fast and dangerous.
Mark Lovell's had a few dangerous moments down the years, blindingly quick and very aggressive when the need arises, but it was consistency with the Group B Ford that made him the youngest ever British champion in 1986. From 4-wheel drive there, Mark Lovell, with Ronan Morgan alongside, now has to sort out the tactics for front-wheel drive.
We're going to just try and keep it nice and straight and then take everything absolutely flat, because I don't think it's got an abundance of power, although it handles very well and it goes very well for a class car. So stick the front in, give it plenty of power, try and get to pull the front round, and don't worry about the back too much, it'll follow eventually.
5, 4, 3.
50, absolute brow. 20, brow over 30. 20, down to long, easy left. 70, brow, 20, K right, cut traffic. 50, long, easy right over brow, keep in. 250, down to hairpin right.
Promising start with typical Lovell aggression down the hill, but it looked as if time was lost in the woodyard itself.
70. K right, keep in. For the cute, 90 left.
Only 1 second down on Blomqvist, though, and a real chance for Lovell to attack for the lead on the very next fast section.
30, long, quick right. 50. Long, easy left opens over 30.
Gear selection remains a problem, though, as indeed does the sun, very bright through the trees now and making it difficult to judge distances, but Lovell trying really hard.
Flat right. 50, right over 30, into turn, open hairpin left.
Quick through the hairpin, but then another miss gear.
Right, keep in. 30, brow over 30, into turn, narrow hairpin left. 50.
The effect, though, is only 1 second lost, 2 seconds off Blomqvist's time, and that can be made up.
Right, maybe, tightens over 20, to long, medium right, muddy. To brow. 30, long, quick right, keep in. 20, easy left. 30, easy right opens, to brow, easy right. And brow, quick right, 30, mud, medium right. 50, Brow.
Lovell really struggling to keep in touch with Blomqvist's time.
20, stay right.
That nasty entry back into the woodyard, and Lovell clips the back bumper. The first to damage the car,
50,
and he'll damage his
short
time as well.
70,
In fact, 4 seconds down on the leader, and equally significantly, 2 seconds down on Louise Aitken-Walker. Target time of 2:38, and with the trailing bumper, he'll be well down on that. Up to the first of the finish boards, and over the flying finish with another second dropped, Mark Lovell a surprising 5 seconds down, 4th place. Russell Brooks, Lovell's teammate this season, the last to go with a chance to beat the former world champion. Twice British champion and leading the race for this year's Shell Oil's British title. In recent years, the Opel Manta gave Russell his most stirring successes, including his second championship in 1985. But on the Manx last month, it was Lovell obeying team orders who gave Brooks victory and the chance to challenge for another British title. No team orders, though, allowed here. Brooks chasing Blomqvist and keen also to beat Lovell fair and square.
Straight, flat crest. And flat crest into flat left, tightens 100. Slowing crest into turn A right, straight. Flat right, tightens over crest 100. Left, turn hairpin right.
Brian Thomas on the pace notes, and Brooks appearing slightly ponderous at the foot of the hill, but as we've seen previously, looks at this early stage can be a little deceptive.
Small cut.
Indeed, Brooks's first split time, the same as most of his rivals, 1 second down on Blomqvist. Picking him up again on the second half of the run, he's been quick on that outward section of the stage and is still in sight of Blomqvist's time. 1 second remains the difference, flirting with trouble a little there, but plenty of opportunities coming up to close the gap.
And flat crest. Flat right. And left. Flat right over crest. And slow right open straight. Slowing.
It's all looked neat enough. Coming up that rough re-entry into the woodyard, though.
Slow right.
And every driver has tried to cut as much as they can there. But somehow in the last mile, Brooks has just lost touch with Blomqvist's pace. 2 further seconds have been dropped, 3 seconds behind now, and Brooks even struggling to dislodge Louise Aitken-Walker from second place. Blomqvist then will take the stage victory, and Brooks gets equal third.
I'll make that a 41.
2 minutes 41, which ties Russell Brooks with Pentti Ricola and confirms an excellent second place for Louise Aitken-Walker after this opening round of the Mobil 1 Rally Challenge. Stig Blomqvist is the front-wheel drive master of the Peugeot 309 GTI. He takes a 2-second lead into next week's stage in Yorkshire, Wycombe Forest, where there's 80 horsepower more and 4-wheel drive with the Toyota Celica GT4. The first stage of the Mobil 1 Rally Challenge, and Stig Blomqvist has taken a 2-second lead over the gallant Louise Aitken-Walker, but the front-wheel drive Peugeot has provided a comparatively gentle start compared to the 4-wheel drive Toyota Celica, which is standing by in neighbouring Wycombe Forest. In modern international rallying, the car is the most sophisticated, outstandingly quick, but frustratingly temperamental. Second to none for pace and performance, but rarely a winner. But at least in the hands of Juha Kankkunen, it's everyone's idea of what a rally car should look like. It's an ideal but daunting car for this sprint event, all the drivers getting their first taste of the car's 270 horsepower and really outstanding grip. Reliability won't come into it. We're in Wycombe Forest, in the North York Moors, about 10 miles from Scarborough. It's home to 6 million trees, 150,000 ramblers, 75 miles of footpath and 50 miles of forest road, of which just over 2.5 miles has been selected for this second stage. A fast opening mile, then a loop up one side of a valley, and a very, very fast plunge down the other side to the finish. And the surface switches briefly from gravel to tarmac just under a mile into the stage, which could well catch out the unwary. So for this second stage, the drivers will go in reverse order, and first off will be a man with a fair bit of catching up to do. Malcolm Wilson is 22 seconds adrift after his puncture problems in Dalby. He's got to attack, and he's relishing the prospect.
It's nice to get back into a four-wheel drive car again. The big difference to me is that, you know, with a two-wheel drive car, you're sort of planning your line and what you're going to do, how you get round the corner. With this car, you're round the corner, you're on the straight. Before you realise, you know, you've got to let the mind catch up again and think, oh gosh, I'm going to be into the next corner, you know. It's quite different. Obviously, it's a couple of years now since I drove four-wheel drive, and yeah, it's a little bit different.
Obviously not quite the same power as the Group B Metro, but any similarities there?
Yeah, very similar. You know, the same old added things there of four-wheel drive, you know, the traction and the braking, etc. Obviously the Metro didn't have the turbo lag. This car seems to have a little bit of lag, etc. But it's just nice to get back in four-wheel drive again.
10 seconds.
So this is Wilson with Ian Grindrod, the co-driver, alongside.
5, 4, 3, 2,
and flat right long.
Well, Wilson really pumped up the revs at the start there, holding it on the handbrake. Aggressive start, which is always a danger in a comparatively unknown car, but Wilson has really got to attack with the time he has to make up.
Flat left long.
It's a real roller coaster of a stage we're on. This is the initial fast descent with its series of rights and lefts, and the car, well, it'll be touching 110 miles an hour here, and the consequences of a mistake at these speeds, well, rally drivers don't really like to think of things like that.
Right entry over crest.
Wilson will see grabbing as high a gear as he dares, and at this point approaching the fast right-hander where the stage briefly goes to tarmac. A deft touch on the handbrake gets the back round. 2 checkpoints on the stage where we'll compare the times, and we're coming to the first. And Wilson threw it in 55 seconds, and that's an average speed of around 60 miles an hour for this opening section. So good start, but this second section, the climb uphill on the right-hand side of the valley, there'll be a hairpin at the top where the drivers take a really deep breath as they decide how much they're going to risk on the plunge down the other side. But time can certainly be lost on this climb, and much depends on the co-driver and the accurate, precise information that he can provide.
Flat left, 100. Crest, fast tail left.
Now this is the hairpin, the second checkpoint. And 1:39 the total time for Wilson, so he's up the hill in 44 seconds. Less than a mile now to the finish. All downhill from now on, very, very fast. And how brave is Britain's top-ranked driver going to be?
80 over crest.
Well, he's brave, but very close to losing it there, and he did well to stay on the road. He must have lost his rhythm for the next bend. Understandably so, and he slides desperately wide there. 10 out of 10 for spectacle, but time lost, and that's the important thing as he takes the flying finish. 2 minutes, 12 seconds for Malcolm Wilson.
2:13 on my watch. I don't think that left-hander can be quite right.
Well, they won't double-check the time, but it sounds as if they may double-check the pace notes as we look again at that left-hander in question. The 2 moments, really, that Wilson nearly lost the Toyota.
We have it in our notes. I think we've got sort of 2 flat rights and a flat left, and then all of a sudden it just seems the tail end seems to come out and go very light. There must be a little crest or something there, and I think the back wheel nudged into the bank. But it's quite a high speed section, you know, it's 5th gear, so it's a good job there's a bank on the outside to stop you going any further.
First lesson of rally driving: if you're going to hit the bank, always do it on the co-driver's side. As up to the line comes the second runner here in Wycombe Forest, and that's Mark Lovell, rather disappointingly 5th after Dalby. Co-driver is Ronan Morgan.
10 seconds.
5,
4, 3, 2, 1. 50.
And Lovell very well away there. This is perhaps more his kind of machinery compared to the front-wheel drive Peugeot. You may remember how quick Lovell used to be in the 4-wheel drive Ford. That was in Group B days. He's also got the reputation of being the only driver to damage a car in the challenge so far. He took the back bumper off the Peugeot in Dalby.
50. Long brow, quick right, tightens to K right, over 20. 30, turn 90 left.
Certainly looks very neat on the opening downhill section, although he's got a bit sideways there, and that might have just cost him a second.
Down tight, medium left, late. Keep in. 30, 90 right on tar.
Also a little bit cautious onto that brief tarmac section, but on forest tyres you can't be too sure how the car's going to behave. First checkpoint coming up, and he's through that 1 second quicker than Wilson, 54 seconds down the hill. Now what can he gain up the side of the valley?
Right over brow, 50, K right, keep in.
There's a real urgent tone about Ronan Morgan on the pace notes, and Lovell, the former British champion, doing his best to respond.
30, brow, long medium left. Easy right, opens to long absolute right. 120. Easy left. 20 brow. 70 up to brow, turn narrow 90 left.
Nearly at the top of the climb. This hairpin is the second checkpoint, remember. We'll compare times again. 1:38 to here. No more time gain on the uphill section. Now down the other side of the valley. If he can attack in the same way as Wilson but somehow keep it neater, then he's sure to pick up some more time. 2 minutes 12 seconds, the target time to beat so far. That was the first bend that nearly caught Wilson out. Lovell keeps it straight through there. And this next left-hander coming up also posed a problem. Well, Lovell flirts a bit with the bank, but the finish is coming up now. 2:10. 2 seconds quicker.
What was it? 10. Yeah, 2:10.
I didn't really make any big mistakes, but I was a little bit slow coming down onto the tarmac, but after ripping the bumper off, I'm pleased to get through without demolishing one of Toyota's cars. So it was a good run, it was good fun, and well, they got it to do now, so that's a nice way to be, isn't it?
So Mark Lovell can now relax and watch the next man in action, the third man in action, Pentti Ricola. Equal third with Russell Brooks after Dalby, and in the Mobil 1 Rally Challenge, remember that drivers compete in 5 different cars. And poor old Pentti is the only driver not to have had first-hand experience of any of them. Slight judder off the line there, so not the cleanest of starts, but Ronan McNamee straight into the pace notes.
Into right 2, into left side crest 1-.
An Irishman on the pace notes for a Finn, but over the years, Ricola and McNamee, well, they formed a very, very effective combination. Recent four-wheel drive experience for Ricola with the Mitsubishi. Four-wheel drive and four-wheel steering, in fact, but this kind of power, well, it must be a new and very exhilarating experience. And he's handling it well. 54 seconds, the best time on this outward section. The tarmac is coming up. He's round that very well indeed. Keeps the power down right round the corner. Heading to the checkpoint, which he takes in 54 seconds. That's a second quicker than Wilson, equal with Lovell. Now, if he keeps it going up the hill, keeps the attack going, this will be a very good run.
Into right 5. And junction right 8.
But he's lost a lot of momentum here, the right-hander. He won't be too happy with that. But he's got the chance now to put the foot down here, the final climb up the valley side.
400. Middle crest, junction left 7-, tightens and long.
And he didn't hold back too much there. Up to the hairpin checkpoint, 1:38, same split time as Lovell. Well, that's going to make the target time a little bit tight. 2 minutes 10 seconds is what a Ricola has to beat, little more than half a mile to go.
Crest left 1-, inside suddenly right 1, 90.
Takes a good straight line through that awkward bend. There's this second awkward one coming up though.
Into right 2 over crest.
And he is very quick. He's going to be quicker than Lovell.
Into middle crest, right 3.
In fact, 2 seconds quicker.
Too aggressive as
I think 9.
Too aggressive, and car was pushing and get a bit too wide line, but in the fast bits. I'm very happy about that, what happened in the fast bits.
Good official time, 2:08, second faster than Ronan McNamee made it. Leader by 2 seconds with 3 runners to go. Russell Brooks is next to tackle the power and potential of four-wheel drive. Russell, the times are coming down. Are you apprehensive or optimistic?
Yes, obviously a little bit. I mean, we want to get wound up and do a really good time on this one. It's a very fast rally car. It's very different and difficult to drive in some ways because I'm not used to four-wheel drive or left-hand drive and so on. But I think we've got to have a really good time here because otherwise we'll sort of be out of the hunt a bit.
What are the particular difficulties, the particular characteristics of four-wheel drive?
It's basically the handling, particularly the braking is very different, and the way it handles in the middle of corners is so different to a two-wheel drive car. You don't have quite so much control over the direction, the attitude in which the car's pointing. And it's very easy to go into a corner too quick and find that it runs very wide in the corner. So I think we've got to go on the basis of sort of slow in and very quick out.
And the power is a big contrast to last week.
Oh, it really shoots off on the loose surfaces. The traction's incredible.
Yeah. Have you got a time in mind that might win this?
No, I don't look at times.
Really?
I don't think there's any point. I mean, when you're going along on the special stage, you have no concept of what 2 minutes, 2 minutes 8 seconds, 2 minutes 12 seconds is. And we were just going to put up the quickest time we can.
50.
Russell Brooks, midway through his run. He was 55 seconds at the first checkpoint, same as Malcolm Wilson, but slower than the leader so far, which is Pentti Aurikkala. Brooks, third equal with Aurikkala after the first stage. And he's heading up the valley side toward checkpoint number 2, round the hairpin, and round the hairpin in 1:39, a second slower than Aurikkala and Lovell.
Left and flat right, tightens over
The voice of Brian Thomas on the pace notes. And as we heard, slow in, fast out, the Brooks tactic. But the problem on this section is that everything just happens so quickly. Neatness and rhythm, as well as pace, a very hard combination to achieve. 2:08, the target to beat Aurikkala, and that could also give him a chance of second place overall in the challenge, but he's well off Pentti's time. And it'll be a time 2 minutes 11, third fastest so far.
It's a bit untidy.
It says 2:11 on my watch.
It's a bit untidy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit, but it's so difficult, isn't it?
What?
It's just so difficult.
And a difficult task faces Louise Aitken-Walker. Amazingly, for Britain's top woman driver, practice this morning was her first experience of a four-wheel drive rally car.
Well, it's the first time I've driven a four-wheel drive turbo car, and I was quite frightened from it at first, but you know, power plus the four-wheel drive, how much it grips the road and just takes off, you know, once you get used to the speed and things, it'll be okay. Could do with about 50 miles practice.
So how's she going to do? Second overall behind Stig Blomqvist in the overall championship, and that after her superb drive in the Peugeot in Dalby Forest. Nikki Grist, her co-driver.
Flat right and quick right. And flat right. Absolute left over long crest.
Nikki's not her regular co-driver, that's Ellen Morgan, so a bit to get used to there maybe, as well as the new experience of the car.
30. Quick right and crest. And easy right maybe.
Recent seasons for Louise in front-wheel drive cars like the Peugeot and the Vauxhall Astra, but she's no stranger to big rally cars. One thinks in particular of the big Nissan that she campaigned in the Open Championship a few years back. Teammate Malcolm Wilson, a spectator at the tarmac hairpin. He was giving her a fair bit of advice on four-wheel drive before the run.
Open medium right, 30.
All kinds of grunts and exclamations coming from Louise's helmet mic. She's slowest at that first check, 56 seconds, but well in touch all the same. She's only 2 seconds slower than Pentti, only 1 second slower than Wilson and Brooks at this point.
90 right.
And Louise's fear before this run was that her lack of four-wheel drive experience would cost her so much that she'd lose touch with a five-stage event as a whole, but that's clearly not the case.
70. Absolute left, 30. Absolute right and left, 30. Brow long, 90 left, narrows.
And she looks good on the climb up to the second hairpin checkpoint. Very good, in fact. She's not lost any more time on that section of the stage, till 2 seconds slower overall, but I'm sure growing in confidence. And you do need to be confident on this next section.
Long, quick left.
Downhill all the way to the finish.
Flat right 30, flat right 30, tight slight left. Quick right over.
Just misjudging things on that left-hander, that'll cost time.
30,
No chance of challenging for the lead, but a respectable performance nonetheless.
Easy right.
2 minutes, 13 seconds.
Hell. What do you make of that?
13.
5 seconds slower that than Auricola, but in touch with the rest. Malcolm Wilson was only a second faster than that.
Oh, I'm highly delighted with that time. You know, everybody's been in four-wheel drive cars, and you know, that's just a personal thing for me to have not driven four-wheel drive and still be in contention.
Exciting experience as well, by the sound of it.
Scared the living daylights out of me. I think coming down the hill, you know, it goes so fast down the hill, and it's quite a heavy car to stop. And your initial impression thinks, you know, you're not going to stop here, so you have to swing it into the corner. And it's quite light when it comes out the corner, and it tends to go out. And but the banking's there, so it bounces you back on again. So it's not too bad.
It's a very difficult car, Stig. It's a very difficult car to get in for the first time.
You're right about the gears.
Yeah.
Keep going up.
Yeah.
Because I was on the rev limiter. And
Yeah,
used to
here
go.
Here, down to, I don't know, I think it was down to the hairpin here. Okay, then down in the next junction, there it was on second gear this time. So that was...
But, you know, keep it going up all the time, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So...
That's good, very good.
See what you can do now, Stig.
Pressure is on.
Stig, everyone's saying that you're going to show how it's done now. Are you equally confident?
No, not really, because it's not that easy, and okay, everyone has been driving very well, so it's very difficult, and it's very easy to do a little mistake and that you lose it all anyway, so it's quite difficult.
What are the particular problem areas out on this stage?
It's one or two corners there you can lose time enough, really, especially on that tarmac hairpin there. If you get it a little bit wrong there, then lose a couple of seconds, and it's very difficult to catch them back.
Everyone who watched you in the first round said, oh, that's wonderful front-wheel drive experience there. Tell us a bit about your four-wheel drive experience.
Okay, I was with Audi for 3 years, and okay, that car suits me quite well, because it's a little bit similar to a front-wheel drive car. You have to set it up in some places like you did, and okay, I have long time experience in front-wheel drive, and that fits very well into four-wheel drive. Okay, now I've been in the Ford two-wheel drive for some years, so it's a little bit different again, but okay, it's quite nice with four-wheel drive.
You never really lose the knack or lose the love for four-wheel drive, do you?
If you have been in the four-wheel drive once, then you always want to have one back again, because that's so big difference.
Stig Blomqvist, the last to go, winner of the opening stage. And just watch how he builds up the revs and seems to fire the car off the handbrake. Really terrific starting technique from one of the great stars of the sport. That gained him yards at the start, and it gave him that momentum to really attack this opening section. Björn Cederberg alongside the former world champion. Once again, Swedish pace notes. We talked about Louise Aiken-Walker's lack of experience of four-wheel drive. You're now looking at one of the pioneers of four-wheel drive, certainly from the 80s. When the Audi Quattro arrived on the World Championship scene, Blomqvist was at the wheel. His world title came in the Quattro, first time this in the Toyota, but all the Blomqvist aggression and expertise is there. Back drifts out off the tarmac. First checkpoint is coming up, and it's coming up very quickly. And Blomqvist 1 second faster. That's 1 second faster than Pentti Auricola over the first section. Now this is where Blomqvist can really build up an advantage in the overall competition. Pentti Auricola so far, he's moved into the lead overall, awaiting what Blomqvist can do here. And Blomqvist needs a time of 2 minutes 10 seconds to make sure he keeps the lead at the end of two stages. But he'll want to be fastest here by as much as he can make. Final split time coming up off this hairpin. And what's he gained? Well, he's gained another second, 1:36. He's now 2 seconds faster than Penty. And Blomqvist is bound to be quick here, down the hill. Just watch the approach. He takes everything in line with the power hard on. Well over 110 miles an hour now. Perfect line through the left-hander where Louis struggled. 2:10 the target for the overall lead. He'll get that for sure. 2:08 the fastest time to beat on the stage, and he's inside that by 2 seconds, and that must be just about as fast as you can get down this 2.5 miles of Wycombe Forest.
Stig, supremely quick. Was that as near perfect as you could get it?
Not really, because now when I had the time from practice and everything, it was a little bit too careful in some places. But okay, it's better to be there and lose and more times. We was not 100% really, but okay, was careful and no problem.
Where did it feel particularly quick then?
I think the first bit was okay. Now when I get the fifth gear and everything, what was not working on the practice, so that was going quite well.
Penty, you've moved into second in the championship after your performance today, but what did you make of Stig today?
Mind-boggling. I was watching there, and he was really so quick, but I was not at all unhappy to him to beat me, because I think he drove better, so no doubt about that.
What part of the vast pool of Scandinavian talent, but has he been a driver that you've particularly admired?
I don't really have had so much of a... never have had a hero in anything in my life, so I haven't really looked at any driver like that, and just tried to do my own thing, and tried to learn my own things, and try to do it that way.
But 2 stages gone of the Mobil 1 Rally Challenge, and Blomqvist has won them both. 2 seconds faster than Penty Ricola, who drove well on this stage, and Louise Aitken-Walker the slowest, but producing a drive and a time that she too can be very proud of. In the overall competition, well, Blomqvist has now extended his lead to 5 seconds over the new second-place man, Ricola. The 16-valve Vauxhall Astra contests the next stage in the Castleoa Forest in the south of Scotland. In the south of Scotland, a forest stage to test its handling to the full. Castleoa in the Galloway Forest Park, 1.89 miles, a steep ascent shortly after the start, then winding downhill to a long sprint finish. Key corner is that rather misleading final right-hander. Get that wrong, and a good run can be ruined. But on the start line, a man expected to go well, Malcolm Wilson, although he's lying last of the 6 runners so far. Wilson with ground to make up, mainly because of the puncture he suffered in Dalby Forest, but there was also a rather ragged run in the Toyota in Wycombe. But now with Ian Grindrod, he's in the car in which he achieved a top 3 place in this year's World Championship New Zealand Rally, and Wilson is really expected to set a very challenging time here at Castleoa.
Rest 20, easy right, 20, turn medium left, 30, flat right over crest, 30.
We're now on the climb up to the highest part of the stage, a point which will also form the first time check by which we can compare the respective performances. And Wilson completes the climb in 49 seconds. It looks quick enough, but exactly how quick it is, well, only the other drivers will show. Now remember that the Mobil 1 Rally Challenge tests the drivers in 5 different cars over the range of front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and this is the last of the loose surface stages, and the final 2 rounds take us onto the tarmac of the Isle of Man, rear-wheel drive, with Ford and BMW. And Wilson has little experience there, so the Vauxhall Astra is really his last chance to get remotely back in touch with this rally, and he's trying really hard. Coming up is the second checkpoint, and Wilson through that in 1 minute 30. Now that's in advance of this awkward right-hander. Awkward because it's a double apex corner. And there you see Wilson forced out a little wide, and he's lost a bit of momentum for what's now a very quick run to the finish. Less than half a mile to go. It's fast and it's flat. Speeds now well over 100 miles an hour. Malcolm Wilson, Britain's top-ranked rally driver, soaring away at the wheel there. There's a bit of a left and right into the finish, which is approaching now. Wilson stops the clock, 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
04. 04, 05.
Sorry?
04 or 05.
Confirmed at 2:05, average speed of around 60 miles an hour, and that run will be hard to beat.
There's probably one place where I lost a second or a couple of seconds. A little bit too quick into one of the last, what we have as a K corner. I actually got caught out on the practice run, and I thought I'd get it right, but still not quite 100%. But I think the rest of it wasn't too bad.
Absolute crest and open slight right.
Already on the stage, the second to go, Louise Aitken-Walker, Wilson's Vauxhall teammate. Overall in the competition, she's 9 seconds off the leader, Stig Blomqvist, equal fourth with Mark Lovell. But 2 fine drives from Louise, first in the Peugeot, and then in her first experience of four-wheel drive with a Toyota. Now she's got a car she's really familiar with. Heading up the hill to that first split time, through that in 49 seconds, same as Wilson.
Flat brow and open slight right and left.
Nicky Griss, the co-driver, and Louise this season has broadened her experience with the car on the race circuits as well as the rally stages. She's provided some very able and very rapid support to John Cleland in his successful challenge for the British Touring Car title.
Left, 30. Keep left for flat brow, 50.
Louise with a very determined but very compact driving style.
Flat left over brow, 50. Long slight right.
Heading to the second check now.
50.
And she stops the clock at 1:31. So on the downhill section so far, she's dropped a second to Wilson. She could possibly make it up at the right-hander. A tight line is the real key here. But, well, like Wilson, the back coming round, she finds herself scrabbling for grip onto the finishing straight. Now, 15-second sprint to the finish. Wilson's target of 2:05 is what she has to beat.
Flat right. Left entry, easy left and easy right.
The finish approaches in 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Good time, but 3 seconds off Wilson.
What time?
08.
Never.
Yeah. Brilliant, Louise.
Yeah, not a great deal wrong with that, but it does show how good a run we saw from Wilson. Mark Lovell and Ronan Morgan to the start line.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Long easy right.
Oh, and that must go down as a very poor start indeed from Lovell. The revs just seeming to die on him off the start line, but he's underway now. 2 targets for Lovell, the 2:05 set by Wilson. But if he can improve on 2:08, he moves ahead of Louise Aitken-Walker in the overall competition. But he hasn't made a good start.
30. Brow easy left.
Now, these really are strange surroundings for Lovell. We always seem to associate him with big rally cars, but at the service area, he really had problems squeezing his 6-foot frame into the tight confines of the Astra.
50. Brow easy right. 50. Quick right. 70.
Losing revs again. Has he managed to stay in touch with Wilson? First checkpoint will tell us.
30. Brow tighter K
And he's
left.
up to the brow in a time of 50 seconds. Second slower than Wilson and Louise Aitken-Walker.
Right, keep in. 20. Medium left.
Ronan Morgan on the pace notes as the speed increases downhill very sideways indeed on the approach to that medium left. Didn't seem to lose too much time though.
Fast left and dip.
And now he seems to be getting into his stride.
Easy left. 50. Absolute brow. 70.
Mark Lovell and Ronan Morgan
50.
with the dust flying, and apart from that near disaster, this downhill section seems to be pretty quick.
50. Down to long left. Keep in.
In fact, though, 1:32, and he's dropped another second to the leader, Malcolm Wilson. Now, has Lovell managed to work out the mysteries of this right-hander? Tight line in, but all a bit stop-go. He had to correct himself there, but he'll be winding up the speed to the finish. 2 minutes, 5 seconds remains the time to beat.
Long brow, long easy left. 100. Easy right. 50. Brow, K left.
He's clearly not going to beat Wilson's time, but 2:07 would take him ahead of Louise. It's 2:08, same as Louise, 3 seconds slower than Wilson.
I'm not sure, but I'd say it was around 09. Not sure now.
2:08 confirmed as the time as Mark Lovell squeezes himself back out of the car.
Oh, we went away and then it stopped now. Keep going. Okay. Good time. Be disappointed with that at all. Funny little monster, that thing, isn't it? Well, next time we bring your own seat. Yeah.
Mike Broad there of Vauxhall Dealer Sport, former co-driver to Russell Brooks, among others. Full set of rugged new Michelin Forest tyres for each driver, and they really do take some pounding. And here's a comparison. On the right here, the tyre that's just come off Lovell's car. On the left is Wilson's. And look at the difference in wear. The extra rubber lost in gaining a 3-second advantage over a 2-mile forest stage. The advantage with Wilson, at last, showing his class in the competition.
Russell, you know the standard set now. Are you equal to it?
I hope so. I mean, the car is quite difficult to drive. I mean, it's got a lot of horsepower on just two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive. It's a fairly nervous car. And I think the thing to do is just grit your teeth and go for it.
Because you had, what, very little experience in the Astra, despite your years with GM.
Well, I drove it 2 years ago for GM, of course, but it was very much the early days when it was still an 8-valve engine, it was still a 5-speed gearbox. So it's changed quite a lot since then, but I think the thing is, as long as you keep the front wheels pointing in the right direction and you put on the accelerator, you'll do a good time.
Now, thinking about the stage, a lot of corners, a lot of high speed, but the one area where people seem to be having problems is that right-hander before the long straight coming up to the finish.
Yes, I mean, looking at the video film of it so far, people have been very, very untidy around there. And I think the thing is, you've got to set the car up for these corners. If you don't set the tail of the slide a little bit, you lose a lot of time through understeer. Yet it's too easy to overdo it as well. And once you get these cars onto opposite lock, in the front-wheel drive version, they become very unstable. So it's that fine balance between getting it sideways enough to be quick and not too sideways to overdo it.
Straight.
But on the stage now, it's Russell Brooks. He's the 4th man to go and placed 3rd overall, 8 seconds behind Blomqvist. And Brooks has had a rather ponderous start, nearly lost it at one point and passed the first check in 51 seconds, 2 seconds off Wilson's pace. But now he's trying to claw it back down the hill. Second time check coming up. And Brooks has lost even more time, another 2 seconds in fact to Wilson, and he's now 4 seconds behind the leader. Into the tough right-hander, and Brooks definitely getting that wrong, straying very wide, hands come off the wheel, very sheepish look. He knows there's more time gone there.
And flat left tightens over crest.
So the finish straight, with Brian Thomas on the pace notes, an exercise in repairing at least some of the damage and not losing too much time, in particular to Lovell and Louise. He's way off Wilson, and he'll drop at least 2 places overall. There's 2:11, 6 seconds slower than Wilson. And Russell with the accurate summing up, bit of a pig's ear.
Yeah, we had 2 half spins, and that's very time consuming. I'm really quite surprised that we did it in 11 seconds, to be honest. Corner on top of the hill, and then the very last open hairpin right-hander, where we slid very wide, more than have a half spin, but I would imagine they were sort of in the region of 4 seconds.
Some of our guests here have travelled.
Herbert Shaw's success as an after-dinner speaker meant he had to buy a word processor. He chose an Amstrad PCW 9512. He can edit his speeches as he writes them. It will even check his spelling. But the most useful part is the free sheet feeder, which prints up to 30 pages at a time. So instead of printing out a short speech, he can just as easily print out a long one.
Which brings me to my second point this evening.
The Amstrad PCW 9512 with free sheet feeder prints page after page after page after...
They're mean, they're mad, they're back. The glorious gladiators of the World Wrestling Federation fight it out every Tuesday night on Eurosport.
Auricola and Blomqvist still to go. Before their runs, though, an attempt to explain at least some of the mysteries of pace notes, which look as complicated as they sound. They can, though, take a very basic form. 2 examples provided by Mike Broad alongside Brooks in the Open Championship.
Right, right! Watch the arrows as well. 50, right, 100.
over there. No, yeah. Go on, back up quick.
That's the simplified form. Two rather more sophisticated systems are used in the current event, and they're explained by Nicky Grist and by Ronan McNamee.
We use a number system, Penty and myself. Basically, that's where we describe, first of all, the direction of the bend or the crest we're coming to, and we denote the severity of the bend by using numbers. So 1 is a very fast and 2 is a bit slower. And where I have them underlined, that's for my own information to help me know how quickly I've got to read the pace note out. This, for instance, is where I have a crest left 3, which is reasonably quick, and I've put this little symbol in to know myself just as I go past this corner that I say the word brake. And a lot of it basically is helping me as well to get my timing right to read out the descriptions.
Now, Nicky, you use what we call the descriptive system. How does that differ?
Well, basically, obviously, the severity of the bend is all descriptions. So our very quick bend is absolute to flat. And the tight bend, obviously, you go down to a 90, obviously a 90 degree, or a hairpin. There are variations in between as well. What we have here, this is from the very start of the stage. We've got a long flat right, which is obviously a very quick corner, to a flat left, which is obviously straight after, and easy left, which obviously then is a lot tighter corner. As you can see, the start of the stage is relatively quick up to this hairpin right, which is obviously a very tight junction. We also have this small loop here is actually a crest, and with a double dot over the top means it's absolute, so it's obviously flat out corner. To an open slight right, basically that is a slight corner, but it's quite wide and open, so she knows that she can take quite a nice line through it. Then a medium left, which is a fairly square bend straight after. The and obviously giving her a distance, so she knows exactly what her braking point is between these two corners.
Well thought out, but not foolproof. Auricular and McNamee on the circuit of Ireland, and an incident that haunted the poor co-driver for quite a while.
I was waiting for the replay to come on television. We had, as you know, the camera in the car. I knew myself I had called the right note, and I thought, oh God, is it going to come up that maybe I made a mistake? Maybe I made a mistake. But luckily for me, when it was replayed, I did the job properly.
Nevertheless, Penty seems to be rehearsing the pace notes for Castleur especially carefully, but alongside him, one of the best co-drivers in the business.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Right 1 into long crest, left 4.
Penty seemingly off the line a little sluggishly. He's lying second in the overall competition, only 5 seconds behind Blomqvist. 2:05, remember the seemingly ever tougher target set by Malcolm Wilson. But a time of around 2:08 or 2:09 should see Penty comfortably keep his second place. Numerical system of pace notes then from Ronan McNamee on the run up to the crest. Let's listen to how they work.
Junction left 7, keep in. And crest right 1. Into crest right 2. And left 5, tightens little over crest. Into crest left 6 minus.
Over that checkpoint in 50 seconds, same as Lovell, a second slower than the two Vauxhall Works drivers.
Into left 6 and left 4, important, and left 1 minus, into crest left 1 inside, and crest 1 50, crest left 2 50, junction right 6.
Penty as ever looking totally committed and looking very fast. Second checkpoint will tell us more. And he's dropped another second to the pace setter Malcolm Wilson. 1:32 the check time for Auricular. Into that right-hander. The back comes round, but he keeps the power down well. Now the last half mile, the run-in.
Into right 1, suddenly long.
It looks as if Wilson's time is safe again, but he could get second overall. A time better than 2:08 would do for that. 2:05 remains the ultimate target.
Into right 6. 207, 208.
And Agricola spared nothing at the finish there. Tightest possible line, the finish board was shattered, but 2:08, he joins a three-way tie for second. And the driver's always keen to look at the action replay of the onboard camera, especially with a flying finish like that. And to show how tight the line was, the marker board that Penty smashed, well, that had been placed halfway down an 8-foot ditch.
Into right 6. 207. 207, 208.
I didn't have much to say, did I?
Last man to go. Can Blomqvist beat Wilson's time of 2:05?
I don't think Stig's going to beat it. I think it'll be the only time on this gravel section of the rally that he won't beat it.
Why do you say that? Because Malcolm's familiarity with the car?
Yeah, he's had a couple of years in the car, and he was well hyped up. He went from his practice run straight into his actual run. That would have helped. But it'll be interesting. One thing's for sure, Stig won't take it lying down.
I think it will be difficult, but okay, we should try and see. But he was very quick. Okay, everybody has been very quick, so it's going to be tough again.
What were your impressions of the car in practice?
It was quite nice. It was a little bit sideways, more than what I expect. But okay, that's not used to it. You maybe try a bit to get it sideways to be safe. That's maybe why it's sliding a bit. So we will see now.
And the stage, clearly some corners out there that are very hard to judge.
There's some tough stuff there because it's a lot of corners coming left, right, so it's no space for mistake, because if you miss one, then you're behind in about 2-3 corners before you catch up again, so that's the problem.
The former world champion then, and once again, the first thing to admire with Blomqvist is that explosive starting technique. Rocketing off the line, Bjorn Cederberg once again on the Swedish pace notes, and that technique is something that Blomqvist has maybe developed via hill climbs, the short sprints that he's concentrating on more and more these days. Blomqvist, the reigning Swedish hill climb champion. And the first part of this stage certainly like a hill climb. So let's see how he does. Remember, Wilson was up the hill to the first checkpoint in a time of 49 seconds.
Vänster. 80 över krön. Medium höger över krön. 80. Medium höger minus. Svag vänster 50. Tvär vänster.
And Blomqvist has that first initial target well in his sights, nearing the crest. And over it in 48 seconds. So despite what Mark Lovell suggested, Blomqvist has shown his pace once again, a second faster than Wilson. Now this downhill section could be really interesting. We saw how Lovell and Brooks almost lost it on these fast left and rights, but Blomqvist looking well in control and attacking hard.
Medium vänster plus över krön 80. På höger över krön I vägskäl.
Nearing checkpoint number 2, Wilson was through this in 1:30, and Blomqvist also 1:30, so he loses a second. The right-hander, which nobody has got 100% right. Blomqvist not attacking too hard here, hugging the tight line, and he does as well as anyone. Now he's leading the overall championship by 5 seconds. That lead is in no danger. But can he make it? 3 stage wins out of 3 into the final quarter mile. And the Wilson target, 2:05, is very close. And Blomqvist diving for the inside corner, 2:05 as well. Dead heat, Blomqvist and Wilson.
It was going quite well. I was on the safe side, really, no risk, but I was going quite good on the first bit, so that I think that was the time. A little bit slow, some corner, but I think it was a nice line that get the time instead.
It's very hard to make up time on that second section of the stage, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because it's quite fast and you don't too much really to do, so it's quite nice section anyway, because it's nice with some speed as well.
And once again, watching you at the start, explosive at the start.
Oh, okay, I have to try because it's a short race.
Malcolm, well done. No one could beat your time, but Stig came close. Where were you watching him?
I was watching him down at the bottom corner where I feel that I lost probably a second or something, or a couple of seconds. And in all honesty, he was the only guy that actually got the corner absolutely perfect.
What do you do to get it absolutely perfect? What is the line there?
Well, I think everybody, including myself, we went in a little too deep. Went in too deep into the corner. We should have turned in actually earlier. Probably approached it a little bit slower and turned in earlier. But it's a very misleading corner. It sort of leads you into it, and this is why, of course, we were all sort of turning into it too late and going on the loose stuff on the outside. But the old experience there of Stiggy got right down into it, and he was right on the inside of the corner. Perfect line.
It's fair to say that after a disappointing couple of rounds, we've seen your true form here.
Yeah, I hope it's going to remain for the rest of the event, to be honest. Yeah, it's nice now. I feel a little bit more confident that you know, that we've done a reasonable result in here.
How are you looking forward to the Isle of Man now?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into two cars. I'm a little bit apprehensive about the Cosworth. I feel, you know, that's a very, very quick car, and it's very quick roads in the Isle of Man, and just a little bit apprehensive. But looking forward to it.
Now then, you conquered the forest. No one's beaten you on this kind of surface. How are you looking forward to the tarmac on the Isle of Man?
No, okay. It should be interesting there as well, but maybe I have a little bit favour there because the Ford is my car anyway, so we'll see what's happening.
So an even stronger advantage, maybe.
Oh, you never know, but it helps anyway, I think.
Dead heat at Castleloa, Blomqvist and Wilson. Three-way tie for third, and Russell Brooks some way off the back. The forest stages then end with Blomqvist an 8-second lead over Pentia Ricola. It's tarmac next, and very high-speed tarmac, with the Ford Sierra Cosworth on the mountains of the Isle of Man. Sweden's Stig Blomqvist a lead of 8 seconds as the Mobil 1 Rally Challenge moves into the fourth of its 5 stages, going from forest to high-speed tarmac. And the rear-wheel drive Ford Sierra Cosworth provides that change of pace as the challenge moves from the forests to the mountains and the moors of the Isle of Man. We're in the shadow of Snaefell on a stage at Druiddale, well known on the Manx Rally. Uphill and twisty from the start, downhill and very, very quick toward the finish. Two distinguishing features, cattle grids. The first toward the end of the climb, the second when speed is at its fiercest. Look for speeds of over 115 miles an hour through the grids, which can give the world's best moments of doubt. Ari Vatanen and Terry Harriman, for example.
50, easy left. 50 grid, 100. Oh, dear God.
A famous moment from Manx rallying, and the Ford Sierra Cosworth is well equipped to provide a similar fright. Our first rear-wheel drive car of the challenge, and a turbocharged 300 horsepower to control. We're using the cars prepared by Mike Little that so dominated this year's Manx. They came first and second in the hands of Mark Lovell and Russell Brooks.
I think one of the hardest things that some of the drivers will have in terms of getting used to the car is the power steering. It's a fairly light power steering, which means that you get very little feel through from the road. Now, Stig Blomqvist and Mark Lovell are very used to it, but the other three drivers aren't. And it won't be too bad when the conditions are dry like they are at the moment, but if it's wet, then the lack of feel from the steering will be quite a handicap. You've got a 5-speed gearbox. The torque band of the engine is so large it doesn't need a 6-speed gearbox, so that's fairly easy. And then probably the only other really important control in a rally car is the brake balance here. It's very important to get the balance of the brakes exactly right between the front and the rear. And of course you adjust these for the different conditions. The slippier it gets, the more you bias the brakes towards the rear, although they still operate on the front wheels first. I think the problem for Malcolm and Louise and people like that is they're not used to turbocharged cars, and they react differently. There's a lot of boost low down, a lot of torque low down, and you have to make use of that rather than use high up the rev range all the time.
And Malcolm Wilson, set to go, would seem to agree with that verdict.
Yeah, got to be honest, I'm a little bit apprehensive about driving this because it's obviously, I think, the quickest car that we'll use in the whole of the series, and a little bit apprehensive. The practice run went quite well this morning. I had the seat in the wrong position, though we sort of messed the hairpin up, but yeah, I feel a bit happier now, to be honest, once I've driven the car this morning.
What are the key areas on the stage? Very tight, but very fast, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very, very fast. I think, you know, this fast section towards the finish here, I mean, it's very, very, very quick, and you have to have the car obviously in the right position.
Thanks, Barry.
I think that's the most critical part. And then, of course, the first part's very, very, very narrow, so you can't afford to really put a wheel on the ditch or anything, or, I think it'd be very easy to sort of get a punch or something like that. But the fast bit is a critical bit, I think.
In a strange sort of way, you're looking forward to it, then?
Yeah, in a strange sort of way. I'll be happy when I get to the end of it.
Lap left, 50.
And Malcolm's drive showed that perhaps he needed a little more time to get used to the car. Disappointing run by his standards. Now, the winner of the Mobil 1 Challenge is the driver with the lowest aggregate time over the 5 stages. Wilson still 14 seconds behind the field after his puncture problems of the opening stage, and he sets a time that should be well within reach of those more familiar with the car. 2:38 for Wilson.
Malcolm, a respectable 2:38. How much did you frighten yourself?
A little bit. The jumps in the middle there, quite hairy. The car sort of stepped out of the line on one of them, and yeah, it was quite, felt as though it was quite a moment.
If you had a bit more time with a car like this, how many seconds could you trim off, do you feel?
I think you could trim a lot off. It's a very, very quick car for sure. Just getting on this sort of high-speed road, it's quite difficult. But yeah, it's a very, very quick car.
Well, Russell Brooks is plainly familiar with the Ford Sierra Cosworth. He's next to go, and he's directly ahead of Wilson in the competition. After his disappointing run in the Astra, this should be better.
50, flat left at a crest, 50.
Pace notes from Brian Thomas, and Russell very keen to show what he can do in the car, in which he won the Manx this year, albeit by a team orders arrangement with Mark Lovell. Camera mounted in the front bumper to try and portray the speed and commitment of these drivers.
Left into K right over crest, K left, right and bad left.
First chance to see the stage run in full, 2.89 miles long, and we're on the twisting incline that forms the first third of the stage. Uphill and tight, but speeds hovering around 100 miles an hour here. And driving on high-speed tarmac, the approach has to be that bit more nervous and that bit more precise.
Into bad left of the grid, 50.
Now, the cattle grids will provide our checkpoints to compare performance. First approaching, Wilson was through that in 53, and Brooks predictably 2 seconds quicker. From here, just a short sprint to the cottage at the summit.
Turn bad left.
And another grid that signals the start of the real bravado for the drivers. After the cottage, sharp left and right that can get the tyres smoking, but can really cost you seconds if you get it wrong. From here, it's flat all the way, or as flat as you dare. Just as you're putting your foot down here, though, 2 yumps where the car can easily jump straight off the road if you get the alignment wrong. Now, the next big decision for Brooks is a few hundred yards away. The second cattle grid checkpoint. It's barely a car's width wide. If you take it flat, it's around 115 miles an hour, and the grid's on the wrong side of the road as well. And Brooks, can you blame him, changing down, backing off a little, maintaining his pace at 2 seconds quicker than Wilson. And now the stage swoops downhill towards the notorious right-hander of Slater's Bend, where Chris Slater launched the car off 50 feet into the valley below on the Manx Rally a few years back.
Flat right tightens.
Left-hand drive the car, which isn't Russell's favourite format, and it's obviously strange to most of the British drivers, but on flat-out tarmac stages with so little margin for error and where judgment needs to be so precise, well, left-hand drive is just another element that can put doubt in the mind.
And flat right.
Brooks 2 seconds quicker than Wilson on the climb up from the start. He's struggling really to improve any further on that. 2:38, the early target time set by Wilson. Final hairpin now. And Brooks through the finish, 2:36.
Well done, Russell, that was very good.
The Brian Thomas verdict, Russell will put it maybe another way.
Oh, bloody dangerous. It's easy driving a left-hand drive car in the forest because you've got room to manoeuvre and a bit more room to make mistakes. You've got to be so precise on tarmac. And twice we hit banks and I think put it up on 2 wheels. And I think the co-driver's white and I'm shaking.
Great interest in the experienced man's analysis of his run, and it seemed clear that the run between the 2 grids is the crucial sprint. Russell's thoughts on that?
Coming up to the cattle grid now. Sharp left after the cattle grid. You can't go too fast in it, otherwise you slide on the bars and you wouldn't make the left-hand corner. I think we cut the hairpin right here too close. You'll see the right-hand side of the car goes right across the Virgin. We almost collect the arrow, but didn't quite. Now onto the main road when you come out of this hairpin right. Very fast. One tricky bit is 2 jumps together in the about 100 metres time. You have to get the line over them. Left over the top, there's the first one, and left again. Otherwise you could actually jump onto the Virgin crash. It's now virtually flat all the way down to the next cattle grid, which again is on the right-hand side of the road. You do the crossing, which makes it quite a tight corner really. just after this next right-hand corner coming up. I did change down one gear into fourth, but I think you should have really taken it in fifth.
It's very, very fast. Suits the car very well. I like the fast bit. There's one dodgy bit. It's a long right-hander over about 150 metres. It could be possible to go over the cattle grid flat at the end, I'm not really sure. But we've got to go hard because we're about 12 seconds behind Stig overall. So if we're going to make any impression on him, we've got to take back a big chunk of time here. So,
is it an easy stage to attack on?
Well, you've got to be very brave, that's for sure. But thankfully, because it's a fast stage and you've got to be brave, that's the sort of stage you can make time up if it all goes okay.
What kind of an advantage do you have, sitting in your own driving seat behind your own wheel?
Well, I've driven the car now for a couple of years, and obviously I'm at home in the car. But there's a couple of things on it which aren't as I normally have it. The tyres are different, so that's the only small thing that I've got to try and cope with. But I feel I got a good advantage over the others, so I'm hoping to press it home and get a good time.
Mark Lovell has announced that, come what may, he is determined to take that grid in fifth.
10 seconds.
We await the consequences from the man lying equal third in the competition.
3, 2, 1, go. 50, long brow, easy left. 50, brow to bump and dip, easy left.
So Mark Lovell and Ronan Morgan away on the stage, and there have been so many stirring performances from Mark Lovell on these Isle of Man roads. On more than one occasion, it's been team requirements that have denied him deserved victory.
Right, into medium left.
Lovell, the former Irish tarmac champion, and if anyone feels at home on this surface, then it's this man.
Up to medium left, late.
And it's certainly a very fast start from Lovell, who won his British Open title with Ford. The time set on this opening section, 51 seconds from Brooks. That's 51 seconds, remember, at the first cattle grid.
20, grid into medium left.
And Lovell threw it in 50 seconds, second faster than Brooks and 3 seconds faster than Malcolm Wilson.
20, quick right over grid. 30, slow left.
Now heading for the left and right, that forms the start of the really quick section.
50, easy left.
In fact, this is possibly the quickest section in the whole of the competition. 2 yumps to negotiate, remember.
Right, jump, easy left. 50, absolute left, opens.
And now Lovell can set his thoughts on the next checkpoint, the next cattle grid. He'll gain 1 or 2 seconds, surely, if he can take it flat.
Flat right. 20, jump, quick right. 50, easy right, keep in. 20, brow, 20, grid, quick
Determined
left.
not to change down, determined not to lift his foot, and here's the grid.
Okay, go back, 2 easy right.
Well, that's about as brave as you can get. He stayed in top, he barely lifted, he clouded the bank on the exit, but gained another second on Brooks, 2 seconds faster overall. Bit of smoke, that's nothing to worry about in this kind of event, where the object is to find the bravest and most versatile driver, not the most resilient car. And Lovell will be delighted to have planted an advantage on Brooks, his teammate this season, and a man he's always measured himself against ever since Brooks virtually discovered Lovell in an amateur rally competition some 10 years ago.
50, easy right.
But now Lovell can really be counted among Britain's best, and what a challenging time he's putting up. 2:36 is Brooks' target set in the last run, and it looks as if he's going to be comfortably inside that. Final hairpin, wheels lock up, and a time 2:33.
Brilliant. What time is it?
Mark, the time suggests you were suitably brave.
Almost too brave, Steve. We got very close on that cattle grid I was talking about, the long flat right. I took it pretty quick in fifth. And we just hit the bank on the way out, and but we survived it.
How close were you to the cattle grid itself, though?
I don't think we actually touched the grid.
I was the one who was looking at it.
How tough is it to do better than 2:33, though?
I feel I could have done maybe a 2:31. I made a little mistake early on, and then I braked a bit early for one of the bends, but if anybody does 2:31, then they damn well deserve to win.
3 seconds better than Brooks, a massive 5 seconds quicker than Malcolm Wilson, due in part to this brave approach at the hairpin that gained him at least a second, and a great deal of respect, clouting the bank there on the way out. And that warranted a close inspection from the Mike Little mechanics and gave a bit of food for thought for Pentti Ricola. next man to go. But Lovell 2:33, which really is throwing down the gauntlet to Stig Blomqvist. He'll be last to go, and he's yet to be beaten in the competition. Before that, though, it's Louise Aitken-Walker and Pentti Arikkila. Pentti first.
Pentti, another car that's got you drooling. What did you make of it in practice today?
It was a much easier car than I thought. I had never driven a Sierra Cosworth before, and I was a bit apprehensive at first, but it turned out to be very much easier car than I thought, so I'm a bit relieved.
What did you discover about it in terms of power and handling and so on?
I was very impressed about it. Every single way. In high speed it was a little bit nervous, and perhaps it was also nervous because I was driving a car.
So at high speed out there, are you going to be nervous as well? What's going to be the approach?
Well, I think there will be a lot of scared people, at least two scared people inside the car. It's difficult, of course, in this kind of event, of course, because you have to go from vert go and go more than 100%, and it's difficult in the old brain to change it to drive out more than 100%, and that will be always a problem, but we will try our best.
Pentti, in fact, second in the competition, 8 seconds behind Blomqvist overall, and with Rona McNamee thinking hard of what's to come.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Crest, left 1, 40, jump left 1 minus, and long crest, right 1 minus, into right 3, 60, crest, right 6.
Arikkila surely giving himself little chance of getting near Lovell's time. All through the competition he's been confronted with unfamiliar cars, but the Ford Sierra Cosworth on these kind of roads really demands a bit of caution, although that's not one of Pentti's most prominent characteristics. Getting a bit out of shape there.
Left 6, into right 4.
We'll see how he's doing at the first checkpoint, which is less than a quarter of a mile away.
Left 7.
Remember, 50 seconds was Lovell's time there. And Pentti 2 seconds outside that. A second slower than Brooks as well, although he's a comfortable 6 seconds quicker than Brooks in the overall competition.
Junction right 1.
Just clipping the verge past the cottage.
Suddenly junction right 7 minus stone inside. And junction
it's a very neat, very rapid passage through the complex.
left 1.
Now this is the key stretch.
Into right side jump left 1. Into middle jump 1. Into left 1 long.
Rona McNamee urging on through the pace notes as they head for this next cattle grid at little less than 2/3 distance.
100, crest, right 1 minus inside. Into right 1 minus and grid left 3. 60, right 2.
Pentti checking back just a little through there. A neat enough line though. He's lost nothing to Brooks, but he's now dropped 2 seconds behind Lovell.
100, right 7, tightens and very long.
And the instructions through this twisty section will really be coming thick and fast from Rona McNamee. But the issue for Arikkila is that he needs to be within 4 seconds of Lovell to keep at least a share of second overall. So 2:37 at worst.
Into crest, right 1, suddenly left 2, suddenly right 1, left 1, and crest, right 1, into left 1 over jump, into right 1, and right 1, 50, junction left 9, hairpin.
2:37 then to keep a share of second overall. Flings it round the hairpin, and it's 2:38. So it cost him second place and a few grey hairs as well, and won't inspire confidence in the next to go. Louise Aitken-Walker.
You know, we'll just have to see how we get on. I think, you know, we've got 2 days left, 2 stages left, and you want to keep your aggregate up, so, you know, a small mistake could cost you the whole event.
But you adapted so well to four-wheel drive in the forest, a completely new experience. You think you can adapt in the same way here?
I'll probably tell you in about half an hour, Steve. It's very difficult, you know. I'll just give it a go and push it hard on the straights, because that's where all the power is, and, you know, I'll be a little bit dubious about the corners, because you never know when the turbo's coming in, but I'll give it a go.
Increased speed, does that now mean increased pressure for the driver?
Well, I'm trying not to think about, you know, cut that off altogether. But obviously, you know, you want your personal best, and this competition is certainly winding up a lot of people.
30, flat left, 30.
We've passed the second checkpoint with Louise and Nikki Grist, and she's really just hanging on. She was 3 seconds down at the first, 5 seconds down at that last check.
Hairpin left.
She's had little or no experience of the car and its power, but we saw how she adapted so well in her first taste of turbo-powered four-wheel drive at Wycombe. This is proving a bit more of a struggle, though.
Easy left. Flat right, flat left, 50. Open, easy right and left. 50. Flat right.
The time she lost on the first part of the stage, that came when she rode a little way up a bank, and the rhythm for Louise has never really come back after that. Final hairpin is near, 2:38 to match Wilson and Auricola.
30.
And she's outside that by 2 seconds.
That's okay, Louis. That's great. You're all right. Don't panic.
It's just the machine itself. I just couldn't get the swingy things, you know.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious me.
You've had some excitement.
The car just took off when the turbo came in and just nicked the bank and up on two wheels, but nothing spectacular. But this was the car, and this is the place that I was going to drop the time, if any. And you know, I'm only 2 off Penty, and I'm quite happy with that. 5, 4.
All of which leaves Stig Blomqvist to show how it's done. Former world champion, leading the Mobil 1 Rally Challenge by 8 seconds after 3 stages, and vastly experienced with this car. But to preserve his record of not having been beaten on any of the stages so far, he's got to match Lovell's time of 2:33, and that's going to be very, very difficult. Bjorn Cederberg alongside, and it's true what Louise was saying, the sense of competition has grown and grown as the event has gone on. The drivers realising how closely they're being scrutinised, and realising also what's being proved about their all-round ability. And Stig Blomqvist has certainly proved that he's still a world-class driver. First target set by Lovell, 50 seconds at this first cattle grid. And Blomqvist looks to be outside that. He is, by 1 second. So now he's really got a battle on, because remember, Lovell laid the foundation for his time by being blindingly quick on this next section. And also by being brave enough to keep the power down through the next checkpoint, and Blomqvist is surely going to have to do the same. So he enters the high-speed run. Speeds here, remember, approaching 116 miles an hour, a typical Isle of Man stage. Rocks on the right, all kinds of consequences if you get it wrong on the left. And the next check, the next cattle grid approaching. Will he keep the power on? Well, he seems to lift off, but despite that he hasn't lost any more time, still just a second behind. And that's all a result of neatness and using the power at the right time. So maybe Lovell's target is in danger. 2 minutes 33 to match him, 2 minutes 32 to win the Druidale stage.
Tvär höger 20, medium vänster 30, tvär höger plus över grön, håll in, tvär vänster plus, svag höger, halvlång, 50, svag vänster, 80, medium höger över grön, nyper något, 50, medium vänster över grön, 80, mycket svag höger, lång, nyper något, 100 över grön, svag höger, 100.
Final run-in, final hairpin. Changes down maybe a fraction early. It's going to be very, very close. And he's missed it by a second. Blomqvist beaten, and Lovell wins the stage. Disappointed to be beaten in what's really his own car. Keen also to try and spot where that second was lost. And after studying the replay, he felt it was this final hairpin, breaking a fraction early, and Lovell wins the stage. And he can be very proud of the stage result, and quite a spread of times from Lovell's 2:33 down to Auricola, Wilson and Louise getting their first experience of the Ford. So overall, Blomqvist 11 seconds ahead of Lovell now, who's moved ahead of Auricola into second, and none of the drivers are familiar with the BMW M3, which provides the final tarmac test in the Mobil 1 Rally Challenge.